And there's the time on our wall of wind. And you can see Buckhorn, 11 a.m., Takapola, 11:08, Thaxton, 11:13, Ecru at 11:19, New Albany at 11:28, Hickory Flat, 11:34, and Blue Mountain and Ripley both at about 11:40 a.m. Severe thunderstorms, strong straight line winds, perhaps even a couple of spots there near Batesville where there's rotation that could be a tornado, and perhaps another one that could develop here in this zone south of us. Takapola there, south of Pontotoc, south of Oxford. We're going to go south. We're going to go back to the precipitation mode on Storm Track Doppler radar. New tornado warning issued just a moment ago that does include sections of Noxubee County. And this is what we were tracking earlier, this thunderstorm continuing to try to get more organized, try to wrap up. We're going to have to rotate for the folks in the control room, and someone from the control room needs to run out and tell Mike to make sure that he coordinates this. We need to make sure we have Joel in front of this once he gets out of Columbus there, and I know he's probably south of Columbus, probably in the zone near Macon. We need to rotate him ahead here in just a second to make sure that he's in the right angle for this. But tornado warning on that thunderstorm there. Continue to move north and east at a speed at about 60 miles per hour. What's what I'm going to have this here. Radar indicated rotation. We're tracking the whole line. There's a couple spots there where something could spin up. Sugarlock at 11:06 for you. Scuba at 11:11. You can see some other times on your screen there. In all cases, we definitely need to be prepared. We keep getting more reports of folks making sure to let their residents around know that storm shelters are open. Now those reports coming from Amory, that Amory has opened up their storm shelters for folks there. So if you feel like you want to go to a storm shelter, that's not a bad choice at this point. Though there aren't any imminent threats in the next few minutes here for Amory. We definitely have to be very careful. And there is a list of those community shelters at WTVA.com. You can go there, find that information. We appreciate all the reports that you give us, but we're just at this point trying to play it cautious as we continue to get some things organized here as well. And what I'm trying to do behind the scenes while we're having this discussion is I'm trying to get some pictures up that we've had sent in, like this one, and we'll hopefully get this full screen for you in just a moment, from the Calhoun City area, I believe, is where this one is coming from here, and I might have to do something else to try to zoom that in. Well, you can barely see it there beside me, but trees down in Calhoun City. That's the short of it, is that reports of trees down in Calhoun City. We might make sure we pass that information along to the Weather Service. That's on a private message sending it on Facebook that we can send us out as a tweet if you want to do that. Yes, and it is a tweet. Mention WTVA weather in that tweet, okay, so that I can pull it up easier and bigger here in a minute. Okay. Okay. So those reports continue. I mean, it continues to be the same thing. We continue to get these tornado or at least damage reports to come in on these thunderstorms. So we're watching there for Scuba, southeast Noxubee County. Though the tornado warning is still technically in effect for Calhoun County, the threat has exited Calhoun County at this point. So if you live in Calhoun County, you can come out of your tornado safe place. The strong wind threat along this edge here, up here toward Takapola, approaching Oxford there, and a couple areas in that zone where perhaps there's enough rotation that maybe we could produce a tornado. Straight line winds, the main impact. People have a tendency to say, oh, it's just... These straight line winds have been damaging, significant damage for hours. So we have to assume that that could continue as it moves northeastward. Apologize as I'm trying to kind of sort through about 5 or 6 different things here. So still lots of reports of damage from Montgomery County still coming in at this point. Straight line wind mode on Storm Track Doppler radar. Pontotoc, Randolph, that's where the latest leading edge of that is, moving northward at 60 miles per hour. 80 mile per hour winds is the discussion from the Weather Service, and whether it's 80 mile per hour winds or perhaps a brief tornado, those are essentially the same thing. So now latest times: Algoma 11:06, Oxford 11:09, the Kiel community at 11:19, Ecru at 11:17, Spraggins community at 11:20, New Albany at 11:26, Myrtle at 11:30, and the Bluff community at 11:35. Severe thunderstorms for sure. potentially damaging thunderstorms. There's been quite a bit of history of damage, and so that's why we're still making the assumption that that is a possibility. I go to tornado debris mode, and I'm not going to get anything here. We're too high up. These tornadoes are going to be shallow. They're going to be brief. It's still possible. And the reports of previous tornadoes continue to come in. Now from 938 report from Holmes County that was back with this complex, back when it was way to the southwest, tornado with multiple trees and power lines down along Highway 51. So that's well southwest of this, but that was this storm. And it is not as strong as it was then, but it still has straight line winds that need to be respected. And so even though this is now a severe thunderstorm warning, people go, that's just a severe thunderstorm warning on this. The fact that you have widespread potential from basically Oxford now to near Randolph, the Wallfield area of straight line winds that could be 60, with some 70 and maybe a few 80. It's about on that same level as a tornado warning, and that's why we're talking about it. That's why we're doing this coverage. That's why we're encouraging you to be cautious with this. Looking at the leading edge, we're going to go back to our tornado warning down south, and if someone back there let me know about where Joel is, let's pull up his video because he should be getting into position for this thunderstorm here. Okay, we'll check that in a little bit. Let's go down here to, we'll find out Joel's information here in a minute, see if we can get that up and going. We're down here on between Sugarlock and Scuba as we continue to look along this line here. Look at the wind mode on Storm Track Doppler radar. South and west of Scuba is where that most likely tornado would be if it's occurring at this moment. There's also an interaction there around Sugarlock that we're watching. In either case, thankfully at this moment, neither looks like a tornado on the ground. We have a better angle at this because we're not cutting through so much rainfall, so we feel a little more confident that the radar is on top of this. I would say now latest image there just west of 45, north of Scuba, south of Sugarlock. That is the most likely location at this moment that there could possibly be a tornado, maybe in the whole viewing area, but certainly in this line here. 55-mile-per-hour northeasterly movement. You can see it's Wallach in 1 minute, Cowlix in 5 minutes, Cooksville in 13 minutes, Dinsmore in 18 minutes, and 23 minutes into Memphis, Alabama. Looking at the camera in front of you, Alan, directly at that camera, go ahead and give me your storm report.
All right, Matt, we just got a report in from Carroll County. The EMA director there is saying that they do have some structural damage at the airport, but 3 buildings at the area have been damaged. They do have some structural damage in the city limits of Baden as well. 1 mobile home and a house have been damaged. So far, there's no injuries, and they also have some trees down near the Highway 35 and Highway 51 corridors.
Okay, so that was this thunderstorm here. I can almost go back in an hour. It's moved from basically Baden there, caused the damage we had in Kilmichael, and continued moving northeastward. So let's just do a raw track here on how far that storm has moved in an hour so we get a good speed on it. And hold on, it's not quite 70, but it's probably more than 60 miles per hour, more than 65 miles per hour on that. Okay, and where is he at the moment? We're trying behind the scenes here to make sure we organize. We have Joel in the right spot to stay ahead of that thunderstorm there, because he's down there in Noxubee County, but he might not be quite ahead of it. And the reason we have him there is he's just not going to see it here. Even if I had Joel right at this tornado, he wouldn't see it until it hit his car, if there's a tornado ongoing out here. And so I don't want you spotting out here. We don't want our spotters out in here because of that. This is just go inside, go into your safest part of your home, which regardless of tornado warning or not, it's going to be the middle part of the lowest floor, and let's stay there until this line passes. And it doesn't look like anything, does it? I mean, let's be honest, it doesn't look impressive. Even out of Memphis, even using the Memphis radar, it's still fairly wide, but you look at just the one direction wind speed there out of Memphis, and this is still some very strong straight line winds with this, at least 60, 65 miles per hour, maybe 70 mile per hour winds. Now pretty much right along 278 Highway 6 between Pontotoc and Oxford, moving northward, moving toward New Albany, moving toward Ripley, moving toward Blue Mountain. For folks that live in Tupelo that are going, well, you've talked a lot about every other place, and we have talked a lot about every other place. What about these thunderstorms over top of us? You could see there's just a lot of low-hanging stuff, some dark clouds. They certainly look a lot darker when you look out toward the west, don't they? And certainly they're a lot heavier out that direction there. But even if I had tower cams in the midst of this, I'm not going to have a lot of good visibility. Our meteorologist Joel Young continues to track things out in the field as he continues to monitor this thunderstorm. We're trying to get him ahead in position just a little ahead of this Noxubee County tornado warning. Joel, where are you at?
Matt, we are looking south. We are south of Macon right now, looking back toward the south. We haven't quite crossed into the tornado warned area, but the rain has started coming down. Not really able to see a whole lot just yet.
Can you go east out of Macon? Can you
What's that?
can you
go east out of Macon? Yes.
How long would it take you to get up to the intersection and get over?
It wouldn't take me long to get back up to Macon. I'm turning around and actually headed back northbound on 45. I was at a crossover.
Okay. Let's get back to Macon
So
and let's get east to get just a little ahead of this, because by the time you go
Get over to
east,
Pickens County.
yeah, by the time you get to Pickens County, it should be pretty close to you. Let's be careful because that's...
And the warning doesn't even go into Alabama. Birmingham hasn't issued this yet, have they?
No, they haven't yet. But they keep talking. They're watching closely. It's right on the southern Noxubee County line,
Right.
And so if it's going to cross pretty close to where you would cross into Alabama. So be careful.
Okay. So I'm going to head east on 14. Do we have the live feed back up, actually? Okay, the live feed is up, if you want to take that. We're heading north toward Macon now.
Okay.
We're going to head east on Highway 14 toward the Alabama state line.
Okay, so let's get his live feed. Can we bring it up back there in the control room, or is it live for you yet? And let's go ahead and mute the audio on that. Okay, go ahead, Joel.
I'm sorry?
Go ahead, Joel.
We had looked back toward the west to see if we could see any kind of cloud formations or whatnot. We were getting some video and did not see really much of a shelf cloud or anything with that just yet. Of course, we had just gotten on the road and I hadn't been able to look out that way a little while. But at this point, all we're seeing is just really dark clouds and heavy rain. But of course, we're still pretty far north of where that tornado warning is. So,
Okay, yeah, and you are. I mean,
we have crossed into the southern city limits of Macon now.
so he's right. Joel is right there, and so you notice that heavy rainfall looked a lot darker off the left. He's in this zone there. We look at the wind mode. Stay with me, Joel, for a second. Just let me talk over you, and I'm gonna bring you back in here in a second. So he's in. See that little interaction there? That's where Joel is. Joel is just south of that little interaction. There's not a tornado imminently on that, as you saw a moment ago. If you look south a little farther on that line, it gets to be a little bit more organized. So that's why we're trying to rotate him up so he doesn't get sideswiped by that, and get him east so he can at least look back into this a little bit.
Now, Matt, do you have the stream pulled up right now?
We had it up just a second ago. We have it up now.
So one thing you'll notice here, and I don't know if you're able to see it there. This is not Highway 14. We need to turn back to the way. So, but we're able to see, like, the wind has picked up quite a bit, and the rain, that when it hits the ground, it's kind of making these, drifts or whatever. So if you're able to see that there, it's just picked up a good bit more, basically, is what I'm saying. 15 to 25 mile an hour wind gusts at times right now. Perhaps a little stronger at times, but...
Okay, so what was the speed? One more time, just so everyone can hear.
Right now, what would you say? Well, I would say probably about 20 mile an hour gusts at times. I mean, it's nothing really too strong right now. Nothing. But, again, we're north of the tornado warning part of the storm.
Okay, so you're at Highway 14 right now, right?
Yeah, just turned on 14.
Okay, I want you to look out to your right. I want you to get ahead here in a second. I want you to look out to your right. There's a little interaction there, for lack of a better term. You know I'm skirting around a word, and so is probably everyone else at home at this point. But let's go back to the precipitation mode and storm track Doppler radar while Joel is driving, and we'll look at that here in a second. But Joel is right here, and the area I'm looking at is just a little bit south of you, and it's nothing overly impressive on storm. Go ahead.
I'm going to ask you if you'll turn the camera back to the right here in just a moment, so you'll be able to see out that right window. When we get to a straightaway where you can actually see something other than the street.
Okay.
Right that direction. I know it's probably going to be a little shaky right now, so we've had trouble with the camera mount. But we're looking out this way, and Matt, if you'll just kind of discuss what we're looking for.
Okay, give me just a moment, and I'm going to track the whole line here forward a little bit into Pickens County, which is under severe thunderstorm warning at this point, and now for this. And my speed here might be just a little fast at 60 miles per hour, but Dinsmore at 11:24 for you, Pickensville at 11:30, Vienna there at 11:31, Aliceville 11:36, Carrollton at 11:42, and Reform, Alabama at 11:47. Okay, going back to our meteorologist Joel Young, and we're looking at the right side of. In a moment here, we'll be trying to get a shot out the right side of the car. I think we're still looking forward, right?
Yeah, we're still looking straight ahead. We are going east toward the Alabama state line on Highway 14 in Knoxville County. Here in a moment, we have a pretty good straightaway looking north, but we're wanting to look south here in just a moment. We still have all trees on the right side of the road.
By the way, this looks more and more organized. Right at the, let's go back to the radar here for a second, and this is getting a little bit more organized down along the southern part of the. About the Noxubee County line down there, as you can see near Field Road, that on the precipitation mode, getting a bit more organized. We go to the wind mode, which is just far enough away, not as impressive. This is the next area. If we're going to see a tornado, it's probably going to occur down here. Yes, Joel.
We are on Highway 14 looking. We are seeing some significant low. I would say it's definitely lower.
Take his camera.
Most impressive clouds we've seen so far. I'm still looking straight away, and I've kind of slowed down because there's coming up. We're going to be losing that.
Okay, so I have some depth perception issues based upon where you're at right now. Mile, 2 miles, 5 miles?
I'm sorry?
How far south am I looking with that?
You're looking, and I'm not able to look at radar right now. Actually, can you look up on your phone real quick?
I mean, just from your perspective, does it look close? Does it look far?
I would say it's probably 3 or 4 miles the farthest right now. From what would you say those clouds right there? Probably.
Okay. So let's keep his shot for a second here. And what I'm looking at here, by the way, when we talk about these things trying to spin something up, and this is not a tornado at this moment, by the way, but you get these areas where the wind gusting out and it tries to have the interactions and tries. It just sits, and it does it sometimes for hours as it's moving along. It just tries, okay, could it try to spin up a tornado or a funnel cloud right there? That's what we were looking at out of that shot a moment ago there. We're going to go back to Joel's shot here in a minute because he is along Highway 14 east here. And so he's trying to get far enough.
I'll say this, I have gone a little bit farther east down to the point where I'm not in the rain anymore. But at one point I will say, like, you had the trees were obviously blowing a little bit harder, and you can see the leaves are blowing off the trees. So that's, the strength of the wind we're seeing right now.
Okay. That seems.
Run that at this point.
Okay. What I want you to do is I need to get east a bit more till Highway 14 turns south. And I'm going to hand you over here to Alan for a moment. When Highway 14 turns south, have him hand you back to me, and let's talk some more because you're going to be kind of in the path of whatever this is by that point, okay? Okay, that's our meteorologist, Joel Young, who is out in advance of probably the only thunderstorm at this moment producing a tornado. There are other thunderstorms that are probably damaging. We'll touch on those here in just a second. But I want to get a storm track here near Paulette Road, moving toward Memphis, Alabama. This is getting much more organized right here at this time, 11:18 a.m. In 1 minute, it'll be in Paulette, 10 minutes, Dinsmore, Memphis, Alabama. In 15 minutes, Aliceville in 22 minutes, and in 30 minutes in Carrollton, Alabama. Meteorologist Matt Lopon here alongside meteorologist Joel Young out in the field and meteorologist Alan Matthews as we continue to track severe thunderstorms and tornadoes producing wind damage. Our meteorologist Alan Matthew with a storm report coming in at this moment. Alan?
Yeah, we had a report just a short while ago from Calhoun County. The emergency management director there reported that there's trees down, houses were damaged, and that there's some of the power lines that were down were actually on fire. Unfortunately, we don't have any specific locations with that report.
Okay, so reports of trees down throughout Calhoun County. And we had, that picture. I appreciate our meteorologist, Alan Matthews, with that report. Once you find out a little more specific information, let me know on that. But that's this straight line winds. And does it look like anything here in Pontotoc County? Because it's now practically into Union County with those strong straight line winds. So now they've changed the mode on the radar, and so it's updating more regularly. Yay. Okay, so leading edge of that practically to New Albany at this point. Let's go to the wind mode. You see, it doesn't show up in quite the right spot on the precipitation mode as it does in the wind mode, so let's go a little ahead of this in the wind mode. 60 miles per hour now in northern Lafayette County there. At least, hold on, let's get rid of that. I'm going to go farther north than this. Just outside of New Albany, near Etta, near Abbeville there, moving north and east. Let's get a track on that. Strong straight line winds, main impact with these. As you can see there, New Albany very soon, next 5 minutes or so. Hickory Flat at 11:31, Holly Springs at 11:35, Dumas at 11:40, Ripley at 11:43, Faulkner at 11:51, and Tiplersville at Tipplersville at 11:50. Apologize. Wind mode, as you can see, lots of straight line winds. Precipitation mode, lots of heavy rainfall. These thunderstorms up here that have moved through Lee and Monroe and much of Lowndes counties, there's some wind, there's some heavy rainfall, there's much more heavy rainfall back to the west. There are going to be some strong wind gusts, including just a minute ago a wind gust of almost 60 miles per hour at Columbus Air Force Base on the leading edge of this stuff going through Lowndes County. That actually just popped in my discussion just a second ago. So some strong straight line winds out of this line as well. Even outside of these potentially tornado-producing thunderstorms. So it's just one of those days we got to be very, very careful of all of these reports, and more of these reports of tree damage, unfortunately, coming out of Kilmichael, in Calhoun County. So many of those coming in that we'll show for you here in just a second. Try to get some of those on the air. Yeah, in Calhoun City, all kinds of reports. So let's go to, yeah, is he at that little kink?
He says he sees something maybe.
Okay, let's go to Joel's feed, if we could.
Hey, Matt.
Yeah.
All right, so we are right now I'm looking south of Paulette Road. I turned off of Highway 14 just a little bit.
You're looking right at it, Joel, just so you know. I wouldn't get too far south of where you're at.
I'm stopping right here. In fact, I may actually go back like I'm going toward Highway 14. You said there's another road though that turns.
What I'm going to say is I would want to keep you, there's not a whole lot of other roads.
14.
I would keep you at that intersection of Highway 14 as long as you have a southeast perspective there. Because I would bet.
We're going to go all the way back up toward Paul. We're going back to the intersection of 14 Paulette.
Okay. Yeah, do that, and make sure to keep Ashley pointed toward that feature. That is what I'm trying to get you in position for. It is.
We have a pretty good, I mean, the visibility out here is pretty good. We have, we can see a good lowering. We're actually about to,
Joel, you there?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, let me call you back here and say we're going to try to get back to 14. I need to turn around.
Okay. Let's do that. Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.
Let's keep that video hot and ready. We'll probably have that up in just a second here. Near Paulette, Joel's right here. Joel's looking into this. This is where that rotation is. Is it a tornado? From his vantage point, it wasn't a second ago, but that doesn't mean it's not organizing to become one. So he's looking right into the middle of this there from a cloud. He needs to get east a little bit. We need to get him east on, need to get him east a little more if we can, so he doesn't get caught up in this. Wind mode on Storm Track Doppler radar. See, what Joel's looking into is right there. So Joel's at a good vantage point to tell you that it's at least strong damaging winds that moving toward him, and it's trying to get more organized into trying to produce a tornado. Joel's in it at this moment, so we will know imminently whether or not this is going to get organized to produce a tornado. That's why it's kind of cutting in and out there. That heavy rainfall is messing with his signal to be able to get back. So do you need any more proof than that? You need to be in your tornado safe place if you live down here in Noxubee County. And I would say the same in Pickens County. I can't at this point in those locations confirm a tornado touchdown, but as we often say, we won't be able to confirm it until after it's touched down. So if you live in Cooksville, Dinsmore, Memphis, Vienna there, Aliceville, McMullen, Carrollton, we need to be in that safe place, going to that safe place because of strong straight line winds at the very least and possibility of tornado. There's been damage out of these thunderstorms today pretty consistently. We imagine that's still the case. If you would answer Memphis, when you get the chance.
Guys, get a little bit further east on 14.
Okay, and that is Alan over there getting in contact with Joel as that continues to. Okay, we have Joel back. Joel, let's get his video back on the air here as he continues to reorganize. He's looking out the side there. It's moving fast enough. It's hard to get into a good position, get a good view on this. And Joel knows what he's looking at. It's just so low hanging. It's just so much rainfall. It's just so fast moving. It's a combination that's very, very difficult to get around here. So there's, as you can see, the heavy rainfall, the wind wrapping up pretty much right on top of Joel. So have that hot and ready behind the scenes here. Let's go back to Storm Track Doppler radar. As we continue to get these reports of sporadic wind damage coming in around the area. And unfortunately, that wind damage in some cases has been somewhat significant. A few new reports coming in just in the last couple of moments here that will go, and these are from some of the other thunderstorms you saw a moment ago here. Trees down, this picture here coming in from Steve in Calhoun County. Pretty good sized tree, and when trees are fully in leaf like this, it's a lot easier for them to do that. Dean sending in this picture here from Kilmichael. Fairly good sized tree down there, broken all over the place. Looks like it did damage the edge of his roof there potentially. I can't tell for sure if that's just the design or if it's actually bent down there at the edge. If it didn't, it was awful close to doing that. More trees down. This picture here coming from Calhoun City. Luckily, again, it looks like it just barely missed that house there. Some tree damage there sent in just a little bit ago as well. So I mean, it's lots and lots of these reports. Almost all of them are tree damage today, and the folks over there in Birmingham watching that Paulette rotation very closely as well as to whether or not they need to issue a tornado warning out here for Pickens County, which is why, if we can, we need to try to touch base with them to make sure they know that we do have a spotter in position down there. Joel's trying to cut ahead of this and get down in position to look ahead there. So tornado warning does continue for Noxubee County. That tornado warning in effect until, for the next little bit here. Let me get the time on that tornado warning. Apologize there. Until noon. Current time is 11:27 a.m. and this storm getting much more organized as it continues to move into Pickens County, Alabama. To address the situation as it stands for most of us, let's look first overall at the warnings and reset where we're at right now. At 11:27 a.m. we have primarily severe thunderstorm warnings in effect. We have every location in the WTVA viewing area under a tornado watch. The severe thunderstorm warnings we have up here for Pontotoc, Lafayette, Union counties, those are for primarily straight line winds, but that thunderstorm there, all the way back to the southwest, has produced numerous, as you can see, tornado warnings and reports of touchdowns of tornadoes and consistent wind damage. And at this point, they'll always code it in as wind damage, and then they'll do a damage survey tomorrow or the next day to say, was it tornado damage? So at this point, that's where it is. It's that maybe, maybe not zone. For this part of the thunderstorm. We had a report of some tree damage there into Chickasaw County near the Egypt area from some of the straight line winds earlier. Here at the station, when the line came through, you could hardly hear it. It wasn't as impressive as some other spots. But all these severe thunderstorms down here, straight line winds with that new tornado warning being issued that does include Pickens County for the potential that thunderstorm that our meteorologist Joel Young is on to produce a tornado. The potential in that continues to increase, and we're trying to get him east as fast as we can on Highway 14 there, exiting Noxubee County, to make sure that he is in the position for that. But you can see that tornado warning in effect until 12:15 p.m. on that line there. So let's get a storm track on that again, and we've done a number of storm tracks on this. Let's get another one here for that entire area, and you can see some of the logins. Do you have a laptop you can bring me that I can just get a laptop? I'll get you on that way. So there's, as you can see, the times on your screen. Saps Community 11:14, Aliceville 11:41, Carrollton 11:49, Reform, Alabama 11:56. And of course, we have a list of community storm shelters. You see that on the bottom of your screen there, listed at WTVA.com. If you just search for storm shelters or tornado shelters, you should be able to find that information. And hopefully we're going to get through this one way or another. But these storms, these tornadoes have been fairly short-lived tornadoes, but on a larger scale, producing certainly tree damage, but some damage to homes and businesses from time to time as well. Cooksville is where we're looking for the most likely location to be producing a tornado at this instant, in far southeastern corner of Noxubee County. We look at the wind mode on Storm Track Doppler radar, and it's